Today we're going to talk about cash flow and transforming the accounts receivable process. Cash flow is the movement of cash in, which is receivables, and out, which is payables of a business. Craig knows that very well. The impact of cash flow on a business can be significant and can affect its financial stability and ability to operate. If you don't have cash coming in, you don't have cash going out, you don't have anything to pay your bills. It's an important factor in determining the value of a business. That would be Randy. Positive cash flow is a sign of financial health and can increase a business's valuation. So how do businesses receive money? There's cash. That's not used in business to business very much. Checks, that's still used quite a bit in business to business. We have credit cards, and then electronic payments, Venmo, Zelle's not up there, but PayPal, credit cards. I was actually an early adopter of PayPal, so nobody would know my credit card back in the early 2000s. I've been using it about 20 years, I think. So a few statistics. I found this very interesting as far as cash. Gen Z, which is 18 to 26-year-olds, there's been a 70% increase in using cash. This is 18 to 26-year-olds. It's because of the inflation. So they use it for budgeting reasons. I know my son he owes me so much every month for insurance and this and all that. He hands it to me in cash, in an envelope that they have, for budgeting and all that. I thought that was probably the most interesting statistic up here, because you would think kids would be going away from cash rather than going to it. Checks, they still are very alive and well. In 2000, there were 41 billion. It's down to 14.5 billion in 2018. Probably has gone down a little bit more, but they still, that's a lot. A billion is a lot. Credit cards, in 2022, there were 166 million users. That was an increase from 2019 to 20. 24 to 27%. I would guess with the pandemic it just skyrocketed. I couldn't find any statistics on that. But ACH, anybody familiar with ACH? Okay, good. ACH has been around a long time, and that's electronic payments. Whether it's your payroll, right? In the 80s, I used to work at a bank, and we had that big, huge tape you take to the mainframe for ADP to get paid. And then it also is used for debits too. Back in the late 80s, it was gym memberships. They would take out for gym memberships. Now it's used, business to business and everything. There's, since 2013, there's 10.2 billion, and now there's 26 billion in 2021. And I would guess it will keep going up because credit cards charge a lot of fees. And if you have high dollars, credit cards will take a lot out, that 3%. If you have $10,000, you're paying business to business. What is it, $300 for one transaction? And a lot of times now, it was only the governments that were passing on that fee to, like if you went to pay your taxes, you had to pay that fee. Now it is regular businesses are passing on that fee to you. So for business to business, it really doesn't make sense for high dollars to use credit cards because you're paying a lot to do that. ACH is old, tried and true. It's electronic payments, and we're going to see an increase in that going forward.
That's going to be the leading way, though.
Yes, and it is old technology. I actually had a vendor. We went with them, and then we're planning on using their ACH product, and they told me, oh, that's old technology. I was like, yeah, but it's really good technology, So, okay, so really, accounts receivable, we want money in the bank, right? We want to get our money there as quickly as possible, and we want to get those transactions to our accounting software. So, it might be Sage, Xero, FreshBooks, QuickBooks. And we want to know who paid, how much, and when they paid, right? Your accounting software needs to know what customer paid, how much they paid, and then when. So I'm going to give you a typical business scenario before we do that. The billing types, Todd mentioned it, are invoicing, or you might get like a statement where you tear off that bottom part and you either send in a check or you pay online for that. Those are the two typical bills. A typical business in step one, it's this two-step process usually. You get either mail with the checks. In the office, you can remote deposit that either, with your phone, take a picture of it and that, but you don't want to do that if you're getting high volume, right? Or you might have a little scanner from the bank. You have your ACH from your website, and credit cards on your website, or come in, point of sale, do it right there in the office. And that all goes to the bank. Then the second step is you take those checks that come in, you either do a bank download, and that can cover quite a few of your matches in your accounting system, or you're manually posting every single one of these, right? The website, ACH, and the credit cards also go to your accounting software. So this is pretty manual, a two-step process. One thing people don't think about too is archive or research. If, with the bank you get it for like 18 months, right? And then if you have to go back, it can get cumbersome. ACH, if you're doing research with credit card or ACH, you could have the same vendor or you have different vendors. So you're going 3 different places looking for information. And that can be tricky. So I found this meme, manual accounts receivables. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? So RenovoPay, we like to simplify your payments. And just an overview of what I meant to bring our brochures. I forgot to get them in there. So we are accounts receivable payments platform. We give you flexibility, convenience, and efficiency. We do checks. We do all the payments. We do the checks, the ACH, the credit cards, debit cards. We even track cash. We're able to track cash in our system. I mean, you do have to manually go and deposit that in the bank, but we do track it. So if you do get paid with cash, you can track that. We're in the cloud with Microsoft Azure, and we also provide, our software is in the cloud. It's SaaS. That's for John. And then we do Lockbox. So anybody familiar with Lockbox? No? A little bit? What that is you have your payments, their checks, set into P.O. Box. And then we pick it up from the mailbox or from the, actually caller service out at the post office by the airport. And we process those for you on our software. And then you probably don't know this by its name, electronic billing, presentment, and payment. But if you've ever gone online and you have looked at your bill and paid it, that is what that is. We provide that for companies. And we're recognized for concierge level of service. So just ask our customers. So what is the RenovoPay payment processing platform? We can do this for any businesses. We take that 2-step process and we make it one step. Any mail coming in, we image it with scanners into our payment processing platform. We have ACH transactions sent to our software and credit card. Then from our payment processing platform, we provide a file to your accounting software, who paid, how much, and when. And we also send your money electronically to the bank. When you have to do archive or research, you determine how long you want to keep this information. There's industry standards. There's some 3 years, some 7 years. We have a company, they go back to 2014. I'm not sure why, I guess there are legal things, but they have to go back and look for checks or payments way back. So there's one place you can look for that information.
What's the industry standard for the archiving stuff?
I think for banks it's like 7 years. For like cities and counties, 7 years. Some are like 3 years, I think. I know our governments, they are 7 years. So I'm going to show you some business cases, just so it gives you a little idea of everything. It's not everything we do, it's just a snapshot into what we do. So we have a waste management company. They're in South Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee. They have landfills, dump trucks, and dumpsters. Not very fancy or luxurious, but it's a necessity, right? So we do two types of things. They started out as one company in South Carolina, and they use our software in the cloud. So anything that comes in with any checks that come in, they process it on our software. They have grown to 13 companies now. At the time they were one company, we saved them an FTE, which can be about 30, well, it's probably grown now, about 50,000. There's one FTE that's doing 13 companies. So what we do for them in South Carolina, they have our cloud-based software. We do their Georgia and Tennessee. We get their mail at the Charlotte post office, and we bring it in and we process that for them. We save them an FTE also. So, and we do what's called invoice matching. So they give us the aging file of their accounts receivables, what they billed out, and they give that to us. We upload it to our database, and when that information comes in, there's an invoice. It tells our system brings back how much was paid, how much they owe, and so that audit helps automate instead of data entry. You'll see that with the transportation company. We have, there's one in New Jersey. They are a trucking company, and they don't have high volume, but you'll see here they have, these are checks. This is a check skirt, one of their check skirts. It has 10 invoices on there. They would have to manually enter all 10 invoices and then amounts. That takes time, even if you're fast at data entry. They previously used the bank's RDC solution. So they were able to deposit electronically to the bank, but now they have to go enter everything manually. And there's errors, and it's just time consuming, very time consuming, 10 times 10. 10 invoices and 10 amounts. So we saved them $38,000 per year. That was probably about 5 years ago, so it's probably gone up in price. But, because it's the FTE, right? We use invoice matching for them. So once we bring up this invoice, the amount due would automatically come up. So that does not need to be keyed, data entry. We look up the invoice number, and then it brings back the amount due. We have in our software, so you don't have to key in 10 times. We have in our software some proprietary, you can, in a few seconds, capture all those invoices, and it automatically brings back all the amounts. So instead of keying all those invoices, all those amounts, with one click of the mouse, you grab all those invoices, it brings back the amounts due. So it's reducing data entry, electronic deposit to the bank, and then we send them a file, or we create a file for their Sage accounting program, who paid how much and when. So it streamlines that. So they're not having to go into their accounting package and enter all that. We have wildlife in North Carolina. I was going to bring some magazines. It's still sitting on the chair. This one is a little different. We also have a product. It's a subscription service for magazines. And what we do for them is we do their Lockbox. So we grab the mail. Anybody with wildlife in North Carolina? John is. Okay. Oh yeah, we have South Carolina wildlife also. We don't do the same exact things for them, but this one showcases us a little bit better. Lockbox, we get their mail. and we process it on our platform, and we do their credit cards, and then we're able to send them that information. What's a little different is there is accounting, but we update their subscription database, and then we deposit the money in the bank. So they know how many subscriptions are coming in, what was paid, all of that, and then we are able to.
So based on the scenario, before you move to the next slide, the subscription is $39.95 a year for the magazine, pretend. If I take a credit card for a payment, then I know I'm at the $39.95, I'm going to lose 3% if they use American Express. But if we use RenovoPay to collect payment, it's probably not fair, and you'll have to dumb it down, but is the cost less than 3% to take credit, not take credit, or is it
yeah, we're able.
Similar? Are you in that 3% range, or is it
Well,
5% cost? I mean, but then I save money because I don't have to have anybody do the subscription stuff, because Renovo does that. That creates my subscription, so I've eliminated a whole person that used to do that for me at Wildlife. I mean, help me understand the economics behind this potentially, in a big way, in a general way.
So they're government. They're with South Carolina, it's the Department of Natural Resources. With North Carolina, it's the Department of Wildlife Resources. So we're working with governments, and they get a little bit lower rate than. Okay. So yeah.
But just working on that.
I'll just tell you, you don't make a whole lot of money on the credit cards because
tight.
Yes, they're extremely tight.
Yeah.
So I do count it as revenue, but it's not what I'm banking on with them, right?
Let's go back to the trucking company. They do $1 million of gross sales a year. I can take credit cards for the $1 million, and I pay a 3% fee on my Amex, and then I'm going to make $1 million minus 3%. But if I make RenovoPay, my payment processing organization, as a business owner of the transportation company, how much do I stand to lose or make? Is it cheaper for me to just take all credit cards? I force everybody to do it through the website. So it's a 3%. What I would do with the transportation company is do ACH, offer ACH online. Yeah. That's what I would offer on their website. So at $1 million of gross sales, you're bidding on my business. I can either take I can use my Amex, or I can use you. What's my cost?
Usually, typically, you have $1 to $1.50 for ACH, regardless of the amount, right? So on $1 million, it'd be $1.50. On $1 million with a credit card, it'd be what, $3,000 for that one transaction?
Well, you're a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So Cher, I think what he's asking is, if you're offering to take payment from a credit card, it still goes through the credit card processor. It's not like she avoids the credit card company. It still goes, so if you're paying 2.5% to use your Visa, and you use RenovoPay, and you want to use a credit card, it's still 2.5%.
Plus the Renovo fee. Plus the Renovo fee. Whatever, to have me to engage her as my vendor.
But you don't have to deal with it.
Right.
Efficiency.
That's not her,
You don't
her
have to
value
deal with it.
prop.
I maybe eliminate a whole person,
Credit card
a
transaction.
$50,000 employee, and I only pay her $10,000.
The reason they don't use ACH here.
Her value prop is not, I'm going to make your transaction cost less. In terms of the credit card,
It's
taking
the
it off
labor
your plate.
of the
Labor.
transaction.
Yeah.
She's saving you labor.
People power.
Right.
We can help on the cost too, but it isn't, it's like basic.
But she can actually strategize it for you. What would your business look like if you no longer offered credit card and you only did ACH or checks? You could do that. It's
Right.
strategize it for
But
her.
there's some business transactions like this, retail, it's households who are doing it. They don't want to, they can't do ACH, they don't want to.
No,
Credit
and you
cards is
want
what
a
they
credit
prefer.
card.
Well, this
because
is
then you
low,
can get it every year.
but the reason they do this is because it's low volume. You got a $12 or $15 or $30, subscription. So, 3% isn't that much. And one of our, I think it's South Carolina, passes that on to the customer. So it's added on to whatever your subscription. North Carolina eats the cost. So, you can do either ways. But these are these are low amounts. And that's okay for credit card, low amounts. Has anybody ever gone online and paid taxes?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to use a credit card. I don't want to pay more on top of my taxes. I'm going to pay the $1.50 for ACH transaction over a credit card. So that really is where, we strategize with you. I don't like to pay any more than I have to.
I think, Jason, kind of to your point, one of the advantages is that her platform can process any kind of payment form you want, whether it's cash, whether it's check, whether it's ACH, whether it's credit card. A lot of other competitive companies out there, it's only electronic payments that they do. They can't handle checks. They can't handle cash. They just have no way of doing it. Whereas her platform does all payment forms regardless. So that's one of her big advantages.
Who do you count as worthy competition? Name them. One or two people that do exactly what he said, because that's a uniqueness that you bring to the table.
Who do exactly what I do?
Well, who would you count,
Kubra.
who do you count as worthy competition?
Who does any payment and who can scan a credit card number off of checks, off of a payment stub?
Kubra, I found out, does. I think there's one more.
So not a lot.
No. I mean, a lot of people, the electronic payment arena is jam-packed full. I mean, it is hard competition.
The 800-pound gorilla is Paymentus.
They only do electronic payments,
Right.
but I go pay my Hanover insurance payment. There's Paymentus, a big competitor of ours. One thing I don't like is I cannot sign on. I say forgot password. I have to go in every month. I can't get my password changed. And so anyway.
So Sherry, when I fill out like a magazine subscription and I handwrite my credit card number, are you, on the other side of this, are you guys actually scanning that in and reading it into the file?
We actually, if you put that on there, we have it where we can go in and do credit cards. We don't encourage you to send in your credit card information.
On paper?
Yes, please don't. But we are able to go in with our software, our subscription software, and we're able to do a purchase.
Cancel on the stub and mail it in, do you guys catch that too?
Yes, yep. So talking about cancel and changing, we have AAA Carolinas. Let me just go to, so here you can go from this to being a happy and calm minion. These are some of the industries that we serve, small businesses such as I'd say transportation company. We have insurance companies, banks, charities. Big business would be like the waste management company. We also have AAA's Carolinas. They're actually here in Ballantyne now. We have governments, medical, utilities is one that we're targeting right now. So we have utility companies. So we're able to help all businesses. We have been in business since 1987. The founder was a visionary. When you were talking about visionary versus integrator, I would tend to be the integrator. But visionaries are rogue, and managing them is very difficult. They don't play well with others. And so I have a little bit of visionary thanks to my dad, and I tend to be the integrator also. So anyway, yes.
Well, I can wait until the end.
No, I'm done. I was just going to go down to
Well, I have
this slide.
Two questions.
Okay.
So do most small business owners do all receivables in-house? If you had to make a guess.
Small, probably, yes.
Okay, so I've heard in a lot of my client annual reviews, receivables are great. I just can't get them to pay me, and I don't know the reasons behind it. Would your logic tells me that if they had your service, then that would increase what's coming.
If they're we really can't control if they're paying or not. You can make it easy, If you did like ACH or where they can get on and you can send them an invoice and they can pay that, yes. But yeah, we're not in the collections business. We help collections businesses,
Make it
but we
easier
aren't.
for them to
Right,
pay.
yes, yeah,
That's the
Yeah.
key, is
Yeah,
if
that-
you can provide all the different alternatives,
Yes.
and make it
Yeah.
easy
Yeah.
through a single platform, then it's going to improve your ability to collect. on
We,
that.
what we do also, and it's not mentioned in here, it's so hard to encapsulate what we do in one little thing. You can do auto drafts. We do auto drafts too. So you can automatically draft customers, but that's typically if it's a certain amount each time. So
Is there anything big that we would be used to that you don't do, or you do everything?
I don't know.
Maybe we eliminate, because it seems like you do most of it.
Well, we do all forms of payment.
You don't take cash, do you?
We can account for it. We account for it with our software.
Like some old utilities still, people
So if I walk into the desk-
office and go to the desk and pay with cash. per
Or I go to the
platform.
grocery store to pay my electric.
We actually
bill.
get cash for these subscriptions. It is a certain demographic of individuals that are paying with checks and cash, okay? So we count for that cash that comes in, and then we take it to thankfully they're Wells Fargo and the Co-America ones, I think we have to send it back to them. We can account for the cash, but there's no local Co-America bank, so we have to send that to them, but
So they mail cash?
oh, yes. Yeah, we're talking about a certain generation. You hit it. You hit it. It's a generational thing.
Lessons learned, don't write your credit card number on the bottom.
Please don't. Yeah,
And don't mail cash.
right. But we can handle it.
Around the rural areas where.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
I
grandma
bet.
and grandpa who have money in their mattress. and
Sure.
And it is an outing to go pay your bills. So you go pay your utilities and you go, each month you go out and it's like an outing to go do this. So I remember doing it back in the 80s. Okay, I'm going to go pay all my bills, and you go to each one. But you don't have to do that anymore. So. Any other questions? Did that give you a little bit more understanding of what we did?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It is very hard. Thank you. It is very hard to tell people, and maybe you understand now why it's been harder for me to tell you, and that isn't everything. So we do a lot.
Excellent.
Good job.
Excellent.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
We know what you do now.
Like I thought, like